Our writers are turning against us. People may not be aware of this, but Film Threat has a website called filmthreat.com. Alan writes for it. I mean, your reviews are almost daily, but you write many reviews in a given week. And what I'll just say is this, is that Film Threat represents many different opinions. So the opinions expressed on the YouTube show are mine and Alan's, right? Those are our opinions. The website represents about 30 writers that write for us worldwide. We have writers in India. We have one in South Korea who teaches English as a second language. We've got writers in the UK. Most writers, though, are here in the US. I'd say more than half, but we do have some international writers. And I'll just say this, the opinions are diverse. So a diverse group of opinions. There's even like, we don't talk about politics on our chat board ever. It's usually wishing people happy birthdays, and we wish people happy holidays based on the holiday. But I'm glad there's no devolving. I think mainly it's because most of our writers are older. We don't fight. We're all, I'd say the average age is 40s of all of our writers. But at times opinions really differ. So I don't want people to get confused. If we give a great review to something, you read the website, you're reading probably a different writer's opinion. That's cool. I love that. I love different opinions. I love talking about film, and I love, like, convince me. I want you to passionately explain your opinion to me. My mind could be changed. But you want to point some stuff out, Alan. I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah. All right, let's so Nosferatu. I mean, you and I both loved. You loved, I liked Nosferatu.
Yes, I loved it.
Okay. And so I can't write every review that comes out. So I pass it on to others. Our Nosferatu review written by Bobby LePire. Bobby is one of our horror writers. He's
very prolific. I mean, not a week goes by he doesn't have more than one review.
Yeah,
he is very passionate.
Yeah, and he loves horror. He loves puppet horror. So there's a lot of puppet horor films there.
A lot of low budget horror, like trauma stuff.
Yeah,
we always give it to Bobby.
Yeah, and so I don't. I review a lot of the Hollywood films. I like to give some out to our writers. Bobby is one of our assistant editors, and so I say, hey, you want to review Nosferatu? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. And if you go down, he gave it a 2 out of 10.
Oh man!
And so, as you know, so the contrast here, the juxtaposition here is, you and I gave it very positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Nosferatu got a 2 from Film Threat.
What does he have to say? Read one of the relevant paragraphs.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Nosferatu is a failure on almost every level. Depp is hopelessly out of her depth, failing to portray mental anguish convincingly. Her body shaking during the seizure convulsions is very cartoony and over the top, turning what should be intense and dramatic into something silly. I literally laughed out loud in my packed theater every time she convulsed. Holt is a typically reliable and affable screen presence. Is not only not very good here, he comes across as inauthentic and stiff, perhaps was intentional to showcase how the characters think societal norms are in a society, but don't suit him. I'll respond to it by saying I think Eggers was kind of going for a melodramatic tone when it came to the normal people. I mean, you look at Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. He was very acting very much like he was coming out of a silent movie, and I think that's the tone that was going for. And I get it. If you didn't have that conceit walking into theater, you might not think that and think all these performances were bad. And I think all of those were meant to pay homage to the silent era and the style of acting and directing at that time.
Yeah. There's another review that also had kind of a take that was a different one, A Complete Unknown.
Yes. So
I can share that. Why don't you read it, Alan? I know you
okay.
already have it up there, but I'll
Okay.
share that review.
Yeah. But
right
I
here.
mean, that was on my top 10. Was it on yours as well, or?
No, it was honorable mention, and I did really like it a lot, but you know,
Yeah. So
yeah,
Michael Talbot Haynes. I will say this about Michael Talbot Haynes. Yeah, you got to click the
yeah. I
box
have
there.
to subscribe to the newsletter.
Yeah,
Get that
I'll say
annoying
this about
pop-up.
Michael Talbot Haynes. He likes everything, and it
Well,
is a
he
rare.
likes the movies. He likes the movies assigned to him. He
Yeah,
is a music buff, so music documentaries, music related things. So,
he
like Bobby's. I've been reading Bobby for years. Bobby LePire. He likes exploitation, horror, low budget horror. He's that expert. Michael is music movies, anything music, documentary, music world, music related. So if he doesn't like something, it says something. What does he say?
yeah. So he gave A Complete Unknown a 4.5 out of 10, which is a negative
Ooh.
review. Just reading someplace. Joan Baez. Okay, so he's a music guy. He loves music. I will tell you that he hates Dylan, and so maybe that was something I should have expected. He wasn't going to see this movie, but his wife made him see it, so that's how we got the review. I like this part. Joan Baez, one of the greatest musicians of all time, is reduced to an undershirt nipple close-up, to a lacy underhaul stand-in. Even Johnny Cash acts like Carl Spackler, drunkenly careening around, chasing invisible gophers. Even the finale, where Dylan goes electric, is cinematically just a golf course blowing up. If this sounds fun to you, that may be because you do not recognize Caddyshack as a shit-filled cavity of a motion picture. So just know that The Complete Unknowns comes off as really boring throughout.
Wow. Well, you know what? I like different opinions, and I like Michael. I really do trust him when it comes to music
Mhm.
docs. He'll rave about some music
Yeah.
doc that I haven't heard of. And that's the thing, the film world, I mean, we review probably on YouTube almost I would say 400, not 400, but maybe close to that. Between 300 or more movies in a year on YouTube, because
Mhm.
we review the movies coming to theaters, including indies. That's a lot on a weekly basis.
Yeah,
And
and that
collectively, we do probably close to 400 between you and I a year.
yeah.
The, the movie, so many more come out on VOD, on demand, on streaming, on whatever. So luckily, we have a whole stable of writers to contribute reviews, about
Yeah.
2,000 a year.
Yeah, and contrary to popular belief, we don't go out of our way to dislike movies. If you
Right.
look at the Film Threat page on Rotten Tomatoes, I would say 95% of the movies are positive. Uh,
I
and
don't know about that.
I would say recently it has, and it's just because
Well,
again
it's
we're
award
an
season, I
outlet
guess.
for independent films, and we're just not in the we're here to uplift independent films, and so if there's any conceit that sways the bias, it's that I try to match up a movie with a writer who's gonna more likely like it than others.
Yeah,
I
like a
know,
music doc or whatever.
yeah, like we have a writer who hates musicals. I would never give that writer a musical,
Right.
because I already know what it is. And if I write a negative review, or if anyone writes a negative review, that to me there has to be a reason for it. And
What was that, Alan?
that was my watch going. I actually hit the face of my watch, and it gave.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I was kind of expecting a negative review for A Complete Unknown. I wasn't for Nosferatu.
Well, I like both of these movies, but our writers are free to have their own opinions.